Making $1 million in revenue is easy, but how to make $1 million in profit or how to add $1 million to your bottom line, that's hard. Today, I want to show you how we exactly have done it, how we have grown profitably, and how you can add $1 million to your bank account so that you can also grow from 7 to 8 figures to beyond to the healthy exit so that you can sell for $100 million or more. Before I dive into it, my name is Bellmann. I'm the founder and CEO of an 8-figure company called Passion.io, which is the software business that grew from 0 to 8 figures in almost no time, and all of that profitably. We became one of America's fastest growing company. Today, I want to show you how we exactly have done it, how we have grown profitably, and how you can add $1 million to your bank account. So let's go. So we want to make $1 million in profits. And to do that, there are 4 ways to actually achieve that. Okay. The most obvious way how to make $1 million profit is that you lose less money, right? So let's say you make $1 million. If you have $1 million in cost, you in the end will make no profit. Most software e-com businesses even have more cost than they make revenue. And that's why they need investors to keep the whole wheel spinning and turning. How to change that is obvious. You need to become more effective, more efficient on your cost side, because that will then lead to more profit, right? And there are like 4 things that are really key to get there. And one thing is really important before we go into this. You have to be aware that the biggest bottleneck to adding $1 million in profit to your bank account is that you are the biggest bottleneck. Why? Because if you would already know how to make $1 million more, you would already have done it, right? And you have like ideas and plans and think, and like you hustle for like years already on doing exactly that. But like you still, like if you look at the numbers, it's not there, right? So like still, it's you. Like you have to be realistic about it. It's you. So I'm right now an 8-figure guy. Yeah, I don't know how to do 9 figures, right? Otherwise, I would have done it already. So that means the biggest cost in your whole business that's holding you back from scaling profitably or adding $1 million to your bank account is that you don't know how to do that. If you would know how to do it and you would make that $1 million more, you would scale again profitably, and your enterprise valuation, the price that you will get on the market for your business, is going to go up significantly. So in SaaS, that means 1 million more in profit can quickly translate into 10 to 20 million more in value. And for ecom, it's less than that, but it doesn't matter. It's still like more than $1 million. Okay, spoiler alert. 3 of these 4 are connected to OPEX. And the 4th one is a secret bonus one, but it has likely the biggest lever on the whole thing. And what that is, we'll talk about that in a moment. Bucket number 1, salaries. So let's talk about salaries. One big trend that I'm seeing is that more and more companies, especially now in the era of social media and AI, they just hire freelancers for a couple of reasons. Number 1 is you hire them once you need them and you then grow with them. Second, the best people out there right now are freelancers anyways. And third, it saves costs because you save on social security. So go freelance. The obvious concern here is, yeah, but like I want him to be part of the team, and like a freelancer is doing so many other projects and so on and so forth. That's not true. In the current era where it's a lot of individuals out there that have a certain skill set, subject matter experts, they want to bring something to the table and grow something. They need strong testimonials. They want to make an impact. And they also quite often want to focus on just a few customers or clients to really like get a good testimonial to then later grow their company. Also quite often they really fall in love with the team, with the culture, with like what you're doing. And then what happens is that you actually work together for so many years and it's like so much fun for everyone that it's the best deal for everyone. It's a win-win. So the whole argument or concern that they're not bought in is completely not true in my experience. Second, go remote, hire international. Go remote. If you do that, you can, like I said, hire international, which means you can go to, let's say, Eastern Europe, you can go to South Africa, you can go to Latin America, you can go into countries where you get extremely ambitious, talented people that are earning a fraction of what they would get in the US. At the same time, they earn a multiple of what they would get in their home country. So they are more than excited to actually work for terms where in the US you wouldn't find no one that would be anywhere as good. Number 3, automate. That's an obvious one, right? In 2025, you can automate way more than we could even do 3 years ago. So instead of hiring new people, you can actually build automations with Make.com, Airtable, N8N, and so on that allow you to really level up your CS, your sales, your marketing, your operations, your KPIs, your BI, your dashboards, all of that stuff. And with that, 2 things happen. One is your team members become more effective. So every team member all of a sudden can do the job of 2, 3, 4 team members. And number two is you don't even need to hire someone because the automation does it or the agent does it, right? And if you have that mindset that you think you can achieve double with half the team, very likely it's the year to have that. Sam Altman said the person that becomes a billionaire by himself is not a question if that happens, but it's already there. The person's already here. Just the question is, when do we find out about this person? So let me add that real quick. CS, sales, marketing, BI, data, ops. Fourth one, counterintuitive, but so true. Hire stronger, pay more. Leads to higher bar. And consequently, it's cheaper. I hope you have had that experience before, but there are people in your company, hopefully, or at least on the market for sure, they just bring in 10x the value to what anyone else in your team does in the, let's say, subject, right? So if you, let's say, hire stronger, you get this person in, you pay them 50% more, you pay them double, who cares? You raise the bar, the whole team gets better, and then in the end, instead of like hiring 10 people to do the job, this person actually does it by themselves. They keep your back free, they don't bring problems, they bring solutions, and they solve it pretty independently. The only thing that you need to do is you need to coach and mentor them so that they can really unfold their next level of potential. And that also requires not just you, but good systems in your people department, like a career framework, compensation framework, geo-pay ranges, to really incentivize these people and show them a clear perspective on how they can grow their career to unlock their dreams. All right, so let's go with the next one. The next one, obvious services. The next element in your OPEX, right? First thing I would do is get a list of all the services that you're doing and review that list every quarter, the minimum. Because you will find things on that list which are like, why are we actually still using that? Like we stopped using that 3 years ago. So you can just cancel it, right? So get a list, review that list all the time, sort it top to bottom, look at what like the biggest items are in the top, and then just like check in if that's really required. Then take these items at the top and see if you can find better alternatives. Because quite often for any service, there's like a cheaper version for it. And then you get like a competing offer and you actually go back to, like, let's say you don't want to switch because like switching is painful, right? But you can quite often go to that same, let's say, service that you use and you can say, hey, we got a competing offer. It's like half the price. We don't want to switch, but how can we say no to this, right? And then they're like, okay, let me see what I can do. And then they come back with a much lower priced offer, which a much lower priced fee for whatever you do. So I wouldn't be surprised if you can actually get 70% discount on many services. For example, right? Let's say you have an email provider such as the ActiveCampaign, you start at $9, but then you grow, it goes up to 100, to 1,000, to 3,000, to 4,000, all of that. If you renegotiate every quarter based on competing offers, based on you consider leaving and so on, you will always get a good deal. And in the end, for example, I think our deal there is we pay $700 for something which is standard price $5,900. Something like that. That's a good discount. If you spend 6 figures in services, which is something that we do, it's quite easy to find up to $50,000 in there that you can actually save. That's a month, right? It's like more than $500,000 a year. That's really good. It's already like 50% of the whole spiel. And then the third one is marketing. Okay. So here's what we want to do. We have 2 buckets, right? One is ads. The other one is organic. What you need over here is, in 2025, a content engine. So a content inspiration engine that gives you the best content. Pick best content. Then you need a production engine to produce quality content. You need a repurposing engine to produce quantities of content. And you need a promotion engine to promote your best content. Because this is, in the end, pre-selling and improving your conversion rate. This can be done with a lot of systems, Make.com, Airtable, N8N, Zapier as well. And it allows you to make more than 1,000 posts per month with just 1 production day and a really, really like lean team here. So with that, you act like a publishing house with like 2-3 people talking for free out there on social about your best content. And then on the ad side, it's really key to find a winner, right? So it's all about finding that winner. That means you need to constantly test you do lead campaigns, because there you get more conversions with lead campaigns, right? And if you see like one is the winner, then you can make it a conversion campaign where you only get the pixel triggered when someone is really buying, right? But I would say like test with lead campaigns, then go conversion. So how to find winners? You look at companies that you think are inspirational, that are crushing it. You look at their ads by using the Facebook ad library or the Meta ad library by using the Google ad library, and you repurpose what the winners are doing for yourself. Also, you get really good inspiration from over here, because the things that work over here that get some traction are great input for your ads. Then I would constantly test brand faces, right? These can be internal and external. We made really good experiences with external brand faces. For example, customers that are like super fans of yours, they are active anyways in your community. You take them and you promote them inside your ads, you put them on videos, and you make them more omnipresent. And no one sells better than your customers. You can, of course, also internally take people in your team that vibe with your ICP. That could be your community manager, for example, sometimes. Sometimes also like completely wild, and it's, let's say, you're head of people, or it can also be your head of marketing and sales, which it was for us. So my chief revenue officer is British, and he is really appealing to the US customers. Think like Stephen Bartlett, Chris Williamson, Jim Carr. There's a lot of British people who are just like converting really well in the US market. You can also pick these brand faces intentionally. You first contract them, you look for engagement metrics, you rank them, and then once you see that one person is working really well, then you double down on it. So let's make some example numbers. So let's say like you have here 300K in salaries today, you have 200K in services, you have 500K in marketing every month, right? So let's say that's $1 million in cost, in OPEX. What's definitely possible in today's time, that you build a smaller, leaner team of more A+ rock stars. And I think that can get you down, I think, easily to 200. Services, you can get it down to 100, maybe 150. In marketing, if you do good content marketing, you can double the conversion or double the customers with almost the same cost. So that means, let's say I just halve it for that reason, 250K, right? So that means we have here plus 100K, plus 100K, plus 250K. That is 250, 350, 450. That's $500,000, but it's per month, right? So $500,000 times 12 is already 6 million. So what you see is that if you have, let's say, an 8-figure spend a year to save 10%, to make $1 million more in profit, it's actually quite straightforward. But then at the same time, when you're like in the business, you're like hustling hard, like you're full all in 24/7, 80-hour weeks, 40-hour weeks, whatever you're pumping, and everyone's like working really hard, it feels so hard, right? Like it's so impossible. But I can just like urge you, go into it, do the exercise, review the salaries quarterly, review the services quarterly, and go into organic marketing with a clear system and an engine that pumps out more organic content into a good funnel to a great offer. And then on the ad side, create more winning ads by looking at what the masters are doing and by learning from your organic marketing. And the symbiosis of both organic and paid is actually what in the end makes marketing really, really effective. Usually there's like the paid guys who like throw rocks at the organic people, and the organic pay guys that say they will never do ads. The actual honest answer is you have to do both. And then it works really, really well. Then this almost halves your OPEX, right? This one can change the game completely and can have a much bigger impact than what you can do on the cost side, because you can only save so much. So the fourth one is your offer. First thing you gotta do, raise your price. Price is a gift that's never stopped giving. In our case, last year in summer, we raised prices by 50%, and that led to just a conversion drop of 10%. So if I give you the number, let's say you make $1 million a month, and now you get 50% more revenue, right? That's 1.5 million a month. But then, of course, you have a 10% conversion drop. So let's say you make 1.35. That's a lift of 35%. So third more return on ad spend on the first day by just raising the price. One more thing here. The biggest thing that's holding you back on the price is, again, your own mindset, your own belief patterns. You're like, we cannot raise the price. The competition is already like cheaper than us, and our customers cannot afford more than our price, and so on. Just like test it out. Trust me on this, test it out. Create a copy of your landing page, of your pricing page, raise the price, put 20%, 10, 20, 30% of traffic there, see what happens, get the numbers, see what the impact is. Most companies I see are not doing enough pricing tests. They haven't changed their pricing in the last 6 months. If you have not changed your pricing in the last 6 months, that is a fucking big lever. Like, focus on that. And if you take one thing from this video, try changing your price. Yes, Stripe plans are set up. It's not easy to change it. Yes, you need to speak to a CS. Like, yeah, I get it. But it's like changing a price. You know, like every supermarket can just like increase the price by 10% on like an item. It's possible. Like in the end, it's not crazy. Like if you cannot, as a CEO or founder, change the price ever at your company, clearly then you're not a great CEO or founder. So get it done, test it, and see what the numbers say. The chance that you are like hit the nail on its head on price elasticity, which means that you found the sweet spot where if you increase it just a little bit more, conversion drops significantly over proportionally, or if you go down, it also like increases under proportionally. If you have really like found that price, I would love to hear from you. I would say like 99% of people I speak to not doing that. Next one is offer stacking. If you're an e-com, right, and let's say you have a PDP, product description page, and here's your offer, and you're like, here, this is the offer, here's the price, let's say it's $59, and here are a couple of things what you get, and here's the buy button. You're selling a product. You're selling a single product. You want to have order bumps, you want to have upsells, that when someone buy, they also buy something else. Let's say if 10% buy also that thing for $199 thereafter, which is a perfect complement to this one, all of a sudden you have, let's say this is $199, you have $20 more AOV. So 59 becomes 79, put an order bump in for $10 of something that would make sense, like a bag or a PDF guide. It's 89. So all of a sudden you come from 60 to 80 to 90. It's almost $100. It's not a double, but significantly higher, right? By just like creating something which is more than just like this single item. And then for SaaS, what you can do is you have a pricing page which looks like this. Name is, let's say, Pro. These are the features. This is the price, $97 a month, right? Then you can do this. You can actually say, let's take the annual one. Let's say the annual one is $997. And you make this one really attractive, maybe even more higher priced by doing something where you take the plan itself, but you then also put a t-shirt in, access to a community, an additional course, a couple of other things which are right in the belief patterns of your customers. So if they have these internal or external beliefs that for whatever reason they think it's not the right offer, that's what they would get in the offer stack. This will take like a quarter to implement. No, here's the thing how you can do it in 7 days, right? Like the PDF sheet on how to get the value from it in 7 days or less. Okay, so this is offer stacking. The final one, offer 2 out of 2. And this is also really important. You want to sell a transformation, not a product. Why? Because the transformation is always worth so much more than a product. And people don't buy products, they buy emotions anyways, right? So give them the emotion of becoming a new identity, of finally becoming that person that they dream about, and they will give you any price. So, for example, let's say I am, what's a good example? Let's say I'm Typeform. Right? Let's say it's $20 a month or so. Become a qualification marketer, become a marketer, become a certified Typeform marketer, whatever, right? And this one you can sell for $2,000. It's almost cheap for a certification, right? As this all of a sudden becoming a business opportunity where this person can all of a sudden become 5, 6, 7, 8-figure business owner, even that feels cheap. So maybe it should be 20K or 10K or whatever. ConvertKit could sell a certification or training on how to become an email specialist or an email marketer. That just adds a few zeros to your offer. In our case, you sell a bundle that allows people to launch their app within a short amount of time. They get access to the software, they get a shirt, they get community access, they get the Expert Unleashed Challenge, which is the offer that helps them to get the first 5 to 10 high-paying customers. Then they get Expert Growth, which helps them to make the first $10,000 a month. And then they get a teaser for something which is called Creative Growth, where they get a whole team that helps them to make 6 figures and more. So that whole thing in our case is on the pricing page, $97 for Pro. And the actual transformation that is sold through a webinar is ballpark $1,500 on the low end. This thing, 3x AOV, average order value, and it leads to a 50% split in annual customers. So customers that book annual, not just monthly. And one more thing that's really important here. This is actually completely connected to your content engine because your offer, your transformation is actually the foundation for your content and for your content pillars. Okay, so stop listening to your social media strategist that has no clue about your offer or how to market and sell, and that thinks like this is the content that we should do. No, your content always comes from the offer. And because your offer or your transformation usually has a proven process, you have there your content pillars that you then use for free content. And then if people engage with that content, then they're like interested about what you offer, that's the offer. right? Like, so you come to the offer, like you already pre-sold on that, and then conversion rates go up on the, let's say sales close rate goes up from 10% to 80% because you have shared the right content. You should never detach your content from your offer because you're pre-selling. So these are the 4 buckets that you can use this year to add $1 million or more profit to your bank account.